be fair. We are live talking about 40K today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Art of War YouTube channel, where you find lots of stuff, including what's going on in the hobby at some point in time.
Should
And I'm really excited to talk about stuff that happened this week.
Well, we've got some things going on. We've got some new army stuff. We've got some Warzone Nachman Rift Wars stuff. We've got some
Yep,
pre-releases. We've got NIDs coming out. And
yep.
what I think is probably the most pressing is we have a data slate that's coming out with balance changes.
This week. They said this
Week.
week, so that could mean tonight. It could mean tomorrow. It could mean
Friday?
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Like, we don't know.
It's
It's like Orktober, which didn't happen.
in Orc November.
Yeah,
So,
or the flagship year for Chaos,
which is
which is happening
right now.
right now.
It'll eventually be there. It's the flagship half year of chaos.
They could have led with that, Brad.
They went the year half year of chaos. So I'm psyched. I really want to see what's going on in it because we know we have some issues, but I think we're closer than a lot of
Yeah.
people think. I said a little bit of this in Meta Monday. I do think that the meta is very close to being good. I think the bottom has to come up a little bit. The top definitely has to
Yeah.
come down because we have some unfun armies is the problem.
Yeah, like I'm looking at some of these numbers and it's like it does like as a player who likes playing competitively, I can only imagine and you and I are used to this stuff, right? Like you
Yeah,
and I are sort of like accustomed to it because we go through this a lot more often than I would say the average gamer does. But like imagine if you're just like picking up an army for the first time and you hop onto 40K Reddit or whatever, and like all you see is just people trashing ninth edition and how the competitive everything's just like poop, and it could be A, really overwhelming for someone who's just getting into it, and B, like disheartening for someone who's say collected an army of guard, and wants to go to like an RTT, and everybody's just telling them that they're gonna get Rolf stomped, and they might as well not bother. Like that's not healthy for the game.
100%. And the thing is that there's always going to be armies that are going to be top. There's always going to be armies that are going to be close to the bottom, but you want to make that a closer skew. So I feel that the problem is non-interactive armies. And the thing is they know about these. So at Adepticon, and they told a lot of different people that they've been looking at a lot of things like indirect mechanics. They said bodyguard mechanics, things that basically can make the game feel very, very unfun. They are already fixed, I guess, planes when they made you can only take 2 planes because planes were very uninteractive. They look very seriously at the feels bad moments, and I think that in itself is heartening to you, especially for those of us that ran through the dark days when you went, oh, this is not fun to play against. Well, I guess we'll see you in a couple years then, and we'll figure that out from there. So
Yeah, 100%. And that's to be expected from, a company that's really this big. And they're gonna lag, you know what I mean? Like even now they're doing things faster than they ever did.
oh,
However, it does feel not fast enough.
it's because everybody's used to how games work. I mean, all computer games, you know what I mean, just have hotfixes all the time. You're like, hey, this is broken. Boom, 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 done. Even when you're looking at other things you play, I mean, even board games that are interactive had a lot of that things. Uh,
Exactly.
it,
Alex McDougall is on point there. Says the best we can hope for is a win rate of, around that 50%, like just under, just over 50%. Ideally, that would be great. It is very polarizing when there is a faction that's winning 80% of the time, or any factions that are winning,
it,
65 plus percent of
yeah,
the time,
as long as you're,
because it doesn't feel
yeah,
like you even have to try a lot of the time. It's one of the reasons I didn't play Drukhari for the longest time. And now I've got people messaging me saying that they've been playing Harlequins forever and that even they feel
Oh, they
like
don't play them.
they just don't want to play them because it's not a challenge, it's not fun, and people are just like,
It's no funny. The problem
yeah.
is they took Harlequins from being this dynamic, crazy army to this static shooting army. So
Yeah.
I am super. Well, I'm definitely going into Paul. We're gonna the first thing we're gonna talk about is the Thousand Suns army right now in just a second here.
As for
Um,
the data slate, play Valiant. This week is what they said. So that's
Brad,
what
I
we
love
can go
this.
by.
Brad, give us your list nits in a list. Nids list in a nutshell. Uh, Big guys, tons of gargoyles, and pyrovores.
Firevores are amazing. Gargoyles are amazing. Big guys are amazing. Like that knit book is like a home run in my opinion.
It
It is
has
like
so many
it is
options, dude.
it's feels fluffy. Like the ability to switch. Yeah, people like I the ability to be able to look at the game state, look at the deployment, know who's going first or second, and then pick from like 10 different army-wide rules based on the situation is crazy good. And I like it.
I mean, this is what McDougal has a great point on this. He goes, I mean, 50% still isn't good. League of Legends busts out an immediate heavy-handed hotfix if a character has a 54% win rate. That's the thing is that I said this in Meta. I'm just going to basically restate what I said. I really, really think that people would be okay. At least I feel I would be okay with it. How about that? It's just my opinion here. Is that
Yeah.
if a codex drops every single time a codex drops, 4 weeks later we have an FAQ and a data sheet that comes with that codex, because you get in enough games after 4 weeks, you have thousands of games played, you find the busted combos, things that are going to be a problem, you instantly address them, and you give the FAQ because you're always going to have an FAQ anyways. Every single codex gets its FAQ. Why not give it a little bit of a buffer and nerf right then? So if something's a problem, everybody knows it's going to be a problem for 1 month. You know what I mean? Obviously, you don't want 80% win rate, but I'm saying if it feels a little bit too overtuned after 4 weeks, boom, you get a little bit of a tuning, and we just get used to that. If GW did that every single time, though, you would have that little 4 weeks of things are a little bit rough, but we're figuring it out. Just like we do in any game that you play, any online type game, it
Yeah.
immediately gets
It's
hot
like
fixed.
patch fixes, right? Like
Exactly,
patches
100%.
and I think it's come to the point where 40K isn't just a game that takes a lot of hobby lag anymore with like TTS and things like that. People can find like the things that are most efficient very, very quickly, and or they borrow hammer or whatever it is that they need to do, especially with like professional, gamers like the Art of War crew who's literally like playing
Oh,
like
instantly.
tens of games a week. You know what I mean? Like it's just game after game after game after game. And so you find the most efficient combos very, very quickly. And if they're off the charts, that there has to be some sort of mechanic to sort of like tweak it and fix it sooner than later. And even though the Harlequin hotfix, they said is going to be they're releasing this balance data sheet early because of what's happening, right? But like it still feels like it has been forever, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why they need to do these right away. I agree with Spectre. They have to basically do digital. It's perfectly fine if you're a person that just wants to play with the book. You play not a lot of competitive games. You play, in your local league, you play in your basement, whatever, and you're just like, here's the book. We all agreed on this. However, if you're playing in a competitive environment, it has to be digitally updated all the time. It's ridiculous that we have to wait for a paper resource to come out and tell us what's going on when that's not how the world works right now. We're playing games. You're spending money on that. You can, and you can, it's so easy. Hey, I've got a fix. Just do it online. There you go. Boom. Game's fixed every 4 weeks.
I think a lot of the game would be much better, like balanced and quicker if it was just a digital form. The thing is, a lot of these books, right? There's like, they sell so many of these books to all of us because we're constantly buying new books that I don't know. I don't know what the math is like behind the scenes. Like having a recurring like subscription service would make sense, but I don't know. There's something about people wanting the book and opening the book, and you know what I
But
mean.
that's
Or
fine.
maybe they should find a way
I
to
would
do
do
both.
both. I would do both though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I have all the codexes. You know what I mean? I buy them. I love to read the fluff. I like to have it. I like to have the book right in front of me when I'm making armies a lot of times. Even if I have Battle Scribe up, I like to have the book right next to me. So I'm an old man, of course, so I like to have the paper. But even I, somebody that basically didn't know the internet existed until a couple years ago, want all of my rules to be online. That way you go, oh, Void Weavers are busted. We can change that either mechanically or points. Here it is. Boom. Done. Every time. I just
If their list building app wasn't
hot
um,
garbage.
terrible,
Yeah.
then they could use that as a platform. But it just feels like they have good intentions with the stuff they do, but in terms of user friendliness and user usability, they always like fall really short. So I don't know like what the aim of a lot of this stuff is. Let's just say that it's frustrating because you sit there going, I feel like a blind mouse could have like seen this and seen what would happen.
Yeah, I still don't understand why they didn't just buy Battlescribe, but whatever. We just it it's I mean, man, I just want ease. I love building lists. I do not love building lists when I use their app. You're like, you made it too difficult.
I tried 3 times, and each time I was like, I want to do this with my Dark Eldar. Like, I think it was like adding a raider to some detachment. And I was like, how?
Yeah.
How do I
Oh, I couldn't
like?
figure out how to upgrade
I'm like,
anything. It drove me
you know what?
crazy.
I'm done. Like, I much prefer to use pen and paper than this.
This is I'm gonna tell a quick story on this. This is from forever ago because Adam Lane goes, I think W thinks gamers are decent and wouldn't look to break the game. So the very first iteration of playtesting, we were at a meeting and I kept asking questions, and one of the guys kind of looked at me annoyed and goes, Brad, what do you think? We have to put rules in the game that straight up say just don't be an a-hole? And the entire room at the exact same time goes, yes, put the rules in there. Make the
Heck
game,
yes. There's
force
actually
people
a
to be
whole
fun.
page in Age of Sigmar that has that as like the code of conduct for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And just in general, I feel that's a much friendlier community
Oh yeah.
because it's in the rules.
But that's
The
the thing.
rules dictate what's fun.
That's the thing is that we talk about it all the time is asking questions before the game, being so clear, have a dialogue with your opponent. Because I feel I can force anybody into having a pretty decent game with me because I just don't give an option of having a bad game. The same thing they could do with this. We have to go digital, Scary. You have to, and I really think that they have to start updating. Again, I put everybody in the chat. What would you think if every time we get a codex, whatever, plural, singular, every time you get a codex, immediately within 4 weeks, at the 4 week point, you got an FAQ and a slight points nerf, or it doesn't even have to be nerf, just point adjustment. You know what I mean? And that's how the codexes were put out, and that's just how it was. So you just dealt with it, and then you knew that you're going to get an FAQ and a points change. Would that change your view on how the game's played and how everything's done? Because for me, it would be a lot. What is your thoughts on this, Gary? I'd like to hear everybody in chat also, please.
I would absolutely love them to make changes more readily available. And if they wanted to do no digital, but like sell, I don't care, sell like a $5 sticker thing that has all the FAQ changes in sticker form that you can just stick into your codex or whatever. I don't care. I just want readily, easy, accessible changes that they can like give me a lot faster. Because they have the data and they've got tons of people playing this game all around the world that can literally raise red flags and be like, "Hey everyone, this is a red flag. Like people are not going to enjoy playing against this." So, yes, they're taking steps in the right direction, but I feel like they're tippy-toeing in the right direction instead of like jumping to the right direction
100%.
a lot faster than they
Yeah,
should.
Adam made a great point on this. It still needs a living document. Otherwise, people, especially for casual players, are going to be confusing. Yes, it has to be
Yeah.
easy to, it has to be easy to interact with and easily found. And also, oh my God, please show the updates. I swear to God, I can never find things that are updated in the FAQs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's funny because if like you and your friend are just getting into Warhammer 40K right now, and you go and buy the rule book and like the codexes for the armies that you're playing, like you'll have a great time if you just play it straight out of the book and don't plug into the internet. But you will quickly find by plugging in that nothing in your book is relevant because everything has changed. And that you're not even playing the missions everyone plays because you actually needed to buy another book that had all of the missions and all of the like points changes and things. And then it just becomes confusing at that point. So imagine like the barrier for entry just gets like a quagmire. It's like a freaking swamp when
but,
you're trying to like. I can only imagine how confusing it would be for somebody new to be like scratching their head, being
well,
like, "Wait,
47
so
documents.
yeah, so this doesn't do this anymore?" No, it doesn't. They changed that like 3 years ago. Oh, really? Well, like good thing I bought this book right now. It's so relevant.
I just think that you have to have, it has to be digital because then it is always relevant. So you don't know. Exactly. You're eventually going to be playing virtual and you just need glasses to play on a digital tabletop. We're going to pay for our NFTs. Those are going to be our models now. What? So you just need to have it. Oh, 100% the new mission should be free releases. I mean, there's some things that have to be free and out there to be fair. So they just have to be able to play the game. You'd have to get more people in. You can't create a barrier to especially new players, or we're not going to be able to continue the hobby. Because what are you going to do? Make each individual model $100?
It's getting to that point where the edition becomes very top heavy. Like it starts off as a very concise set of rules, and this happens every edition. Okay, it starts off with like this is a set of rules. These are codexes that go with the rules. They're pretty basic, and then as you go, it like gets more bloated and more bloated, and then it like tips and turns. Is like this unwieldy mass at the top of what was a good foundation, right? Like ninth edition is a fun edition. I've had more fun playing ninth edition using the mechanics of ninth edition. It plays very well. It's very fluid, right? But it's getting to that point where it's like I feel like there's a new edition that will be coming soon because it's like all
Yeah, I agree on that.
great.
But it would feel a lot better if it was digital, though. And I went, hey, I play Chaos, I play Imperium, I play Salamanders, I play this. And if I could go into and I click digitally on Salamanders and it had everything. It's so annoying right now to go, oh, hold on. I've got my codex, my supplement book, my White Dwarf page, my Army of Renown book, and then
My Vigilus,
Vigilus,
Vigilus, not my what are they called? The other books, the other supplement books,
yeah,
and then
and then the problem is, and then you've got, oh, I've got Forge World pieces out there too. So all of a sudden you show up at a tournament and you need this small library.
6 or 7 books sometimes in a White Dwarf. Like honestly, I've built some really cool like dynamic lists with something like I did like an AdMech and a Knight army. I did a Metallica like AdMech list and I added in a Knight because they can give it canticles and there's this like really cool mechanic. But I was running it out of 4 books.
Yeah,
And I was like, this is really confusing. Really fun mechanic, but I shouldn't have to claw through four books to try and
here's the other thing. I'm giving Adam a 2-time shout out this thing for good comments because he goes, isn't that Wahapedia? Why isn't the GW app as easy as stupid Wahapedia? Who literally, if you put in stuff, when you click on something, it gives you the stratagems that go with the unit. How is Wahapedia doing that?
Too.
Yes.
They literally be like per phase and stuff. It's like the organization on that is like, come on, Games Workshop, please. I plead to you as a gamer, like,
but just
do that.
Why are all the free programs so infinitely better than the paid programs? I don't understand what's happening there. It's my tiny brain is blowing up from the fact that how is Wahapedia going, oh, you chose Hellions. Well, here's all the stratagems Hellions can use, and here's all the rules for Hellions. You're like, why don't they have this? Or if you find somebody that's doing that, buy them.
Yep.
Just do that.
Just for our sake, okay? Just do it for us, please. Please and thank you. Talking about like, well, Paladin says yes, you've got 3 books for like 6 models. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love having options. I love that as a player who's playing like any faction or most of the factions right now, you can sort of pick and choose from a variety of books and sources. And if you want to come up with this cool narrative-y like or competitive style list, you can kind of pull from a whole bunch of sources and make the bestest list that you can come up with. But it is sort of annoying.
Bam's got a good point. He goes, because it's people enthusiastic about their hobby making them, not hourly employees with 5,000 rules from IP departments. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that. Both Dalton and Bam both came up with good points on that. But the thing is that if you're there, I don't know. I feel like you could then outsource to people then that are enthusiastic. You know what I mean, and give them less constraints, things that they're already doing. You know what I mean? It's just make that the official way that the community gets their rules. That, you know what I mean, and make it interactive. Put links to it. I mean, it's crazy that a fan base thing is just infinitely better at finding my resources than the company is. I mean, it's just that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, we are passionate about what we do, right? And so that passion translates into sort of understanding what we want. So the product that we put out there is like a user-friendly product because of the fact that we know what we want and what we're looking for when we're
Yeah,
fans.
my problem is that's I guess why I'm so grr about it. Even though I'm very positive, I love GW products on that. But like, I go to tournaments and I have multiple Wahapedia pages up for my army. I don't bother with the other things. Why am I pulling up Wahapedia and not my app? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry. You know what? You know what we are going to talk about?
Let's move on.
We're,
Let's sidestep the subject.
we're gonna.
We can talk about it all day long. This could literally be a 4-hour podcast on the grievances of 2 grognars in gaming, but we'll move on to some of the cool stuff. Because if there's something Games Workshop knows how to do, it's how to produce models and give things rules. And they've given us a plethora of stuff to talk about this week.
See, they have. I want to start with Thousand Suns. I got an Art of Renown.
Nice.
I love the Thousand Suns lore. I think they have one of the best sets of books. Aramon's three book set was amazing. If you haven't read it, I really go recommend it. But what do you think about the rules in this? I think it's pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about the strength of it yet, but
We're talking about an army of renown, right? And apparently it's got to do with like mainly Zangors and things like that.
yeah, the Warp Meld packs and the
Well,
Sorceress Warband kind of deal.
it'd be like Thousand Suns are in a very like interesting place in the meta right now, where I think they have some really strong. They have like a couple of strong builds that do well, but they need a dedicated player to sort of play them. Um, and I've seen them do really well. This adding some spice, maybe some mechanics that will do well into the edition. Like they said, teleporting, Zangors and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Like I'd like to see the discs, like the Enlightened guys. Like
They have
they
entire
have some.
worlds that are dedicated to Zinch that they
Yeah,
get all
it'd
these
be so
Zangors
cool
and
to
everything
see
from.
them on the table. Like, who
Yes.
the heck has seen a Zangor Enlightened since like early 8th edition when they had the auto hit, like auto wounded or whatever?
Oh,
Remember, like
dude.
back in the day?
In
Um,
8th edition, I brought almost 60 Zangors. I brought 2 giant
mhm,
units plus some other guys. I
yeah,
have these models. I'd love to put them out. I love the idea of in my mind, I'm thinking of a theme almost like Adepticon S, Canhammer S, where you have a
yeah,
huge display board and it's a Zinch world. Those Zangor worlds would be fantastic.
yeah, that'd be really cool
So
looking. And there's so many neat models that you can draw from that you don't see very frequently. It's like the aesthetic is totally unique. They're just like disc birds with bows and like scythes, and the Zangor, like they just like Beastmen, but for like 40K. It's really
100%.
cool.
I do like the
Yeah.
fact that they have the pregame move. The new touch, this new army gets that
Mhm.
pregame move. Plus, they get the 5 up, 5 up. Um, but that first game turn move is going to be a big deal on that. So I
Anything
really
that lets you get into that mid board to start contesting. Like I saw a list at like 200 crude net, and I was like, that would be really annoying to deal with. So and Zangors are pretty efficiently costed, like as far as I had seen what you get for in the Zinj book. Like they're not terrible for
they,
what you get.
they have a wacky redeployment too because it's after you scout move, then you get to place units in reserve if you want to also. So I think that this is going to be at least different. I think it's going to be way different at that point in time. And they've got a lot of cool things. I just want to see this army work, to be honest, because of the fact that I really like the idea of a Zangor heavy, one of those worlds, where they have all they're literally, they corrupted the entire world to be this, and that's where you get all these guys from Zangors to Vortex Beast to everything else. You know what I mean? All the Bray thing. Basically, it's all corrupted beastmen things that are out there. I think it's really cool.
I
So
like it as well. Yeah, Zangors, and well, the new Tyranid codex was released or pre-released this weekend. We've had like a first-hand look at all the cool stuff that Tyranids are going to be doing. And a lot of battle reports have gone up and people trying them out. And they seem like they've got some pretty spicy combos, namely with like Maliceptors and some crazy Zoanthrope Psychic Mortal Wound
I
Bomb.
can't even talk to you
Whew.
about that. Over the weekend, the Maliceptor did so many mortal wounds to me. I don't even know what to tell you. Uh,
With every single time, right?
three
And it
mortal
can
wounds
cost what,
every.
3 powers? Oh, it's so
He
nice.
went
So
three
silly.
mortals, three mortals. I was just like, eh.
So silly. You can do it up to 3 times because you have the strat to cost an additional power, right? So you could do two, two, two. It could be like, it's so dumb. Plus the mortals from the smite and the psychic scream or whatever. Ooh, ooh, that Maliceptor is dangerous. Let's just say
Let's.
very
I know
dangerous.
this is AOS, but can you talk to me about the Bestial Companion, the Gargantuan Beast, the Corpse Rippa Vulture? There's got to be some way I can use this in
Oh,
40K.
what? The Vortex Beast?
No, in AOS they now have the Corpse
Oh,
Rippa Vulture.
The it's like this. What is it? It's like an elemental form of the realm of beasts.
It's
Is that right?
all I know is it's super cool. Take a sneak peek at this. I mean, I'm a little bit behind here. Maliceptor will have to be nerfed. Yes, the Maliceptor was causing stupid amounts of mortal wounds to me, and it felt also his psychic action is also buck
Oh,
wild
the vulture guy.
because of
Okay, now I see. Sorry.
because the Maliceptor can also cast other powers after he's done that. That that psychic action is actually underappreciated. When you have a lot of big bugs and you're giving a 6-inch aura of -1 strength to everybody shooting at you, whoo, those turn the maths completely around. It is nuts. When you have a bunch of T8 and a bunch of T7 stuff running around and everything else is -1 strength, you all of a sudden are wounding on 5s and 6s a lot more.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think anyway, let's just say that Tyranids, I think, are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Like,
Yes,
to put it
indeed.
lightly, like
Yeah.
we thought Crusher was an issue. Like, just wait till mixed. We have an option to deal with everything Tyranids
We played.
comes to play.
Snakes played an army yesterday. Yesterday, no, Saturday, whatever, one of the days, and he had the Maliceptor, a Tyrant, I think a Haruspex, a ton of Gargoyles, 2 units of Pyrovores. It's just, man, there was so much stuff on the board, and the fact that you just have flying troops just lets them steal objectives so fast.
Yeah, those troop gargoyles are just like absolute money.
I mean, it is crazy time when you're like, it looks like you're going to get a 0 for this top of 2 because the gargoyles just ran and advanced onto your objective and they're there. So,
Yep.
like, oh, that seems big. Speaking of Tyranids, I was just going to throw out some of the the stuff they threw up, even though we've probably seen the full codex by now, but they put up a couple of their strats and things of that nature. So
Yeah, they did do like a variety of previews before the codex dropped.
mhm.
But the thing is, let's not even get me started on leaks. Like they ruined the WoW factor in my opinion a lot. Like the whole Tyranid codex was leaked early. And so like a lot of the stuff they put up was like, yeah, well, seen that, done that, like
Well, I
and
mean,
it
I'm
bummed
okay.
me out.
Tell you the truth, I don't mind it because if we get the more leaks we get, the more we can find the early problems and the faster you can get to adjusting those problems. How about that? I like that.
Sure. Like as a competitive player, you'd be like, oh, that's gonna be an issue, and you can build something into your list to counteract it before it comes out.
And
Yes,
or you can also
granted.
find interactions that need rules clarification, so you can go to your TOs and ask them about them. You know what I mean? How does this work? You know what I mean? Tyranids do have some weird interactions because they do a lot of things that only can be done with Synapse, and
Mhm,
they're not really out of phase, but they're awkward phased.
mhm, mhm.
So I would like to see some of those looked at immediately. Some of them are basic, where you can see the intent, but as usual, they're written in such a way that the rules as written is significantly different than the rules as intended. You look at an
Yeah,
interaction and you're like, well, they clearly mean this, but it is not written just straight raw is not that. And you want to make sure that those go hand in hand as opposed to I'm just going to take some harlequins in my orcs. So those are two different things that we have.
yeah, make that is true. Why do you have to go and be the silver lining there, Brad? I was trying to be all like, leaks, and you're like, nah, it's fine. I was like, well,
Eh,
fine, whatever. Be that way.
I'm back and forth about leaks because I love to be hit with oh that awesome thing that just came out and I'm excited about it, but I also would like to not have Harlequins win 80% of their games. How about that?
Yeah,
So,
that would make sense.
so
See, I wish. Yes. Okay, I'll premise it with yes. Although only if like Games Workshop actually put something into practice, if that makes sense, and not resort to like, you know,
it's why they
a
if they did the Brad Chester 4 weeks
fan made thing.
FAQ beta sleeve with every single codex, I'm telling you right now, the game would be a billion times more fair and it would feel great.
They should listen to you, Brad. I say it right now. They should listen to you.
Here you go.
Hey,
100%,
what's
man.
going on, Yoshi? Okay, so what's next on the docket? The Exodite?
We're
Can we
talking
talk about the Exodite?
everybody's had enough time to talk to do the Exodite. I'm telling you,
3 episodes,
yes, but the
and
last
that
one,
last episode was freaking amazing. Okay, I loved it. It was so good.
it come on now. One, you have the ultimate stealth suit leader, the Shazrai, that is no one's ever been in more of a bad situation than that guy, than
Nope,
that girl is. And
nope.
and then you went, what could be better worse than having multiple phantom titans come out of a wraith gate and you're like, oh, how about if they just dropped me at the dark city? You're like, oh, well, that's significantly worse. Like,
Oh yeah,
can I
yeah.
go?
Let's just go to Kamara.
Yeah, can I go back to just having Phantom Titans all over me because that seems way better than where I am right now. So,
Ah,
I,
the way they just nonchalantly just start kicking the shit out of everything. I was like, this is amazing.
oh, I love the fact that the Harlequins also show up with the dejected Ranger, and they're like, "Don't despair. Tell your story of woe to everybody by being a death jester."
Yes, sir.
I was like, "This show can't get any better for me. I'm fanboying like a madman." I was
It
so
was so
excited for
good.
that. Oh,
So good. I loved it. There's just like you could just tell this Corsair was just like fed up with the whole fucking galaxy. And he's like, that's it. I'm done. This galaxy and then he's like, that's it. I've done my job. Phantom's gonna destroy everything. And then the Harlequins are like,
you're
you're
like,
not done yet.
you're like, like here, I'm gonna make the rest of eternity kind of sad for you. But now you're a
Yeah.
death. But now you get to take it out on somebody. How about if,
Oh man.
how about if
So
you're
funny.
sad forever, but you also get to inflict pain on everyone?
That's right.
Specifically characters. Anybody
Yeah.
has too many stripes on their uniform, you shoot that guy in the face now.
Yeah, and make an example of their death. And literally, like in the lore, okay, death jesters literally have fun, like just destroying things and
Oh,
like killing people and units and Xenos in like creative ways, like making them run through minefields for fun, or like having them like, just pull their own hair out because they're so scared, and that's a death jester. He's like just that's that's what they do.
oh. Well, he was already doing what Death Esters do, and the fact that they're known for disrupting meetings and high ups and things of that nature of other races. So they just come in
Yep.
and do it. And Ganny, you are 100% right on that. It's an epic time for us Space Elf fans. Busted Rule is good TV. They do have also the best Hammer and Bolter episode. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It is amazing. I'm
Yeah.
very happy with the Warhammer Plus. We just need more Plus. It just needs more stuff.
Yeah, like 3 episodes over what, 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it was,
Yeah.
is not enough. Okay, like I listened to the lore videos; they're great, Warhammer Plus, but like I need more stuff. I want to watch more.
Size guy.
Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
he goes, I lived long enough to see the Avatar get a proper model. Yeah, he isn't the 1 inch tall marine size guy. It bugs me so much that the old Avatar, he's supposed to be this like epic living molten lava base comes out. He's dripping steel coming off him. And then you're like, oh, where is he as a model? Oh, he's about the same size as a Primaris Marine. He's a little bit, you're like, get out of here. He's the incarnation of death.
Mhm.
Grr.
Mhm.
Don't make me grr you. GW,
You don't want to make Brad mad, okay? You wouldn't like him when he's
I
mad.
will grr you. I will grr you a second time, sir. But the
I don't smell to elderberries.
they need to sort out the app, man. I don't want to go back into it, but I'm very passionate about this. I've been pushing for people to be with the app because I thought that they would straighten it out by now. I don't know what the hell's happening there. And it's bugging me because AOS has an app that literally works for them. They literally go, wink, there's my battle
Oh, yeah,
plan.
it's on the website. Literally, like War Scroll Builder, you just
Yeah.
go to the Warhammer website and you just put in your army, and it just spits it out. It's incredibly easy to use,
and you
and
literally
it's just
and
there.
you share it with your opponent, and he looks and goes, "Here's all the rules for my army. Here, there you go." It gives you the rules for each of the units that he has too. So,
Right. And then you have, and then there's this other website that's fan made, but it's like a phase by phase thing where you put in your army list and it spits out all the abilities and things that you need to do every phase of the game for Age of Sigmar.
I'm gonna get so worked up. I can't do this on an Art of War stream. I literally cannot explain how I feel about all of this without swearing. I cannot not drop F-bombs if I'm talking about this.
No problem. You know what, Brad? Let's sidestep that and go to the next cool thing, which is
What do you got
I
for?
don't know what you have. I don't know what you have lined up. You
I
got
only
the
had a
you're the
couple.
guy with the pictures.
I went to the new NID stuff because they have a lot of NID stuff. I mean, the NIDs are amazing. I thought the NIDs would take me more time. I didn't know that I was going to be so focused on the app and updating the game.
I think we've both been hot taking the absolute hell out of this today.
Yeah.
So you came for 40K today, and you've stayed for 40K more of everything else.
It just has to be fixed. I didn't realize how angry I was until we basically went Battlescribe Wahapedia, and I was like, neither one of those are actual GW things, and I'm like, why? I don't understand.
Rage is what you need to. That's what you're feeling inside, Brad. It's okay. That's why the chat and all of us here are here to help you listen to your pain and help you navigate through these feelings.
I just think that you just have to be able to. People have to have easy access to rules. We have to have new people joining the game New people can't join the game. If you go, here's my AdMech army, and you hand that person a stack of books and articles, and you go, there you go. That person's
And they're
gonna be
like, oh, can I buy this white dwarf anymore? No,
no,
it's
no, yeah.
it's out of print.
You're like, where do I
Good
find that
luck.
online? If you just go through GW, you can't find it at all. But if you go to this program made by just random fans, it's
Yeah.
super easy. So
Yeah, it's not piracy whatsoever.
all right, I'm back. I'm okay. I'm gonna look
You're
at.
back? Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna go
So
back.
what are you most excited about with this like Rift Wars, the new book that they're bringing out?
I'm very very excited about a lot of things actually. I want to see the chaos stuff that come out of it. I want to see what they're going to do also with some of this marine stuff that they're supposedly coming out with it, because of the fact that I think that it's fairly easy to get Marines back into the 50+% win ratio everywhere.
Yeah.
And they just need a small thing. And I'm hoping that this puts us, if between the data slate release, FAQs, it takes the Spectre 380. Thank you for the super chat. New weekly stream, Brad rants. I would love to do that. I got to keep me away from the wine. Then I get real ranty after that. So, but I get passionate about it, man. I get passionate about my toys, and it bothers me when I see things that are easily remedied, easy remedies, and they're not remedied. It doesn't make any sense to me, because as a person that is just a fan of the game, I don't get when you're not making the easy fixes.
Yeah.
It just is something that should be happening. So I feel like I've tried to give constructive criticism back to GW because of the fact that no one's ever going to listen to us if all we do is say, this sucks. You're like, well, what do you guys want to see then? You have to have some sort of, it's the same thing when you just say there's a problem. There's a problem. Well, do you even have any options for fixing it? And the thing is I do. I feel like a lot of us do, and we have constructive criticism we give. And once you give that, that's where I think they should be taking it, though. I encourage everybody to be on the Warhammer community and put in at least positively worded things that you'd like to see, are the things that they will take more often than not. As long as you're not starting off with, here's the 20 reasons that you suck. Say, I would love for this to be implemented, kind of thing. And I think that, especially now that they literally have a guy whose job it is to work with the community on that. He's the social media guy, and he's very excited about it. And I think that we'll get more done. I think that things are going to change. I have to hope that. We've been talking about it, and we've had a lot of positive. I know I'm giving them a lot of crap, but I have to be positive here because they've made a lot of changes in listening to the community, knowing that they have to make changes, knowing that they have to have hot fixes, knowing that we have to have more often data slates and stuff like that. It just has to be embraced faster.
Yep. Oh, 100%. I agree with you. Spectre, by the way, thank you very much for the super chat. Says there should be a new weekly stream called Brad Rants. And then again, Genyush says Brad's Banter Bandwagon with a 2-drink minimum every Thursday at 9. Although if that's something you'd like to see, make sure you email contact@theartofwar.com and tell everybody that that's a stream you'd like to see.
The funny thing is I am doing it I'm doing it on Sundays, but I'm doing it on mine. I'm doing it.
Nice.
I just started.
There you go.
I have two videos. I'm on my own YouTube right now, and I also, of course, have my Facebook stuff that's going to come out. But
that's fantastic.
And I'm going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And that's the thing is I love doing, because I love the game. I love the fluff around it, and we are closer than you think to having greatness. The problem is that we have to drag those that are trying to stop us from achieving greatness and throw them by the wayside.
I agree. It does feel that way. Like when you look at the game, it's like on a razor's edge. It's like at that that cusp where it can either go in the right direction or too much pressure, and then they like go back to the dark ages, which I don't think they do. But it's just that like it kind of wants to flow over, if that makes sense. It just hasn't been able to or allowed to flow over yet, and so that's why there's so much pushback.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel that there's two camps inside GW, so I won't go any more for that. There's people fighting against people.
Well, it makes sense. You've got a publicly traded company
100%.
and then a game manufacturer that wants to make fun things for people, right? So there's like the economic side of things and the actual like game design side of things, right? And it's hard to mix the two, which I think is it's like a delicate thing. Like they're running a what is it a million or billion-dollar company?
$1 billion company.
It's a $1 billion company. So they have got lots of things that they have to sort out, from logistics to like distribution to game design to profit margins to everything. We could have a whole economics class on how complicated all of this is, plus a raging fan base that's like, I want my Space Marines to be unkillable. And then other people being like, I want my Eldar to be untargetable, right? Because that's what they are in the lore. You know what I mean? So yeah. Mhm.
So, on that, everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. We always appreciate it, and we will see you on the flip side.